Is it recording?
Yes.
You can stop.
It says live. It says live. It says live.
Is it what? Live.
Praise the Lord, everybody.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord, everybody.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. We first of all, let me just tell you a little bit about me. I'm Apostle Viola Northley Smith, and Sharing Gifts Ministries is the ministry the Lord gave me. And the reason why is because when I was a licensed preacher, my pastor had 16 to 18 licensed and ordained preachers in the pulpit. And, you know, he loved to preach, and we loved to hear him. But none of us were getting a chance to exercise our gifts. So, Sharing Gifts Ministries. So he just put this in my heart to give preachers and lay people an opportunity to share their gifts, to hear their voice. Because if you never heard your voice, when you first hear it, you're like, oh my God. But the more you hear your voice, the more you exercise, the stronger you become. And so, and Carol, I met her, she was doing, Reverend Cortez was doing a bookstore, she had a bookstore, and a friend of mine told me about it. And I went there, and the Lord spoke to me as I was there and said, you need to sow into this ministry. And so we became fast friends, and when I was ordained as a pastor, she came as my worship leader. And during the course of that time, the Lord allowed me to license her as a minister. And that's how, and I just have to put this in there. I've never even thought about having a fur coat until she said, Pastor, you need a fur coat. And so she took me to Manhattan, and I have a fur coat. I have a few now. But it was all because of Carol, and I just bless her. And when I did I'm also a skincare consultant with Mary Kay, and when I did my first class, she was one of my first guests that came to show. So she's very supportive, you know. And so when the Lord spoke to me at the end of the year and said, because I haven't pastored in like 14 years. About 6 years ago, I was on vacation with my sister in Kansas, and I had a heart attack, and I had to have open heart surgery. So it kind of slowed me down a little bit, you know. So for 6 years, I've been sitting at my home church and, you know, just getting fed in the Word. And the Lord spoke to me in December and said, you need to start your monthly time of sharing, because people got a lot to share. And so share with Reverend Cortez, and we were talking about this. You put this in my spirit some years ago, because we were talking about stocks and everything, and I said, Lord, you know, we have knowledge, but we don't share it. And I know there are a lot of people that are interested in investing, but we don't know anything. And here you have a knowledgeable woman of God who is willing. And I said to her, when we do our first monthly time of sharing, I want you to be the first presenter. And she kindly agreed. So thus started the search for a place, because, you know, we're just getting started again. And I didn't know how many people would come. Send out the flyers. You never know. You send out 100, you might get 10. You know, and so I'm just so grateful that Reverend Cortez came and she brought some guests, and I'm expecting maybe 1 or 2 people from the thousands of flyers that I sent out to come. I didn't want them to miss what she has to say, and so I was trying to, you know, kind of delay it a little bit, because we have this room until 3, but we're going to break. We're going to let her share, and we're going to break and then come back, and, you know, my spiritual daughter is supposed to be coming to maybe sing or sign or something, but, you know, I don't know what she's going to do, because, you know, she's on a journey.
That's Leah?
Yeah.
Oh, praise the
So,
Lord.
without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over into our guest presenter today, Reverend Carol Cortez. Let's give her a hand, y'all.
Bless the Lord.
Right.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. We're looking forward to more guests also. I, too, invited people. I always tell people, you invite 50, look for 5.
Yeah.
It's just the way life is. This is a Saturday. A lot of people have things to do, but we're trusting the Lord that those that can come will come. Well, as you know, and sir, you don't, my name is Carol Cortez, and I am blessed with this opportunity. Violet has blessed me many a times to come before groups of people, some, as few as 25, some as many as, 75. And I bless the Lord for the opportunity, because come what may, the bottom line is, even though I'll be sharing information, the bottom line is this is ministry too.
Yeah.
I'm ministering to you all, and I hope that it might gird you up so that when you're ready to make a move, you'll be equipped to make that move. So, as you know from the title, it's Investing in Corporate Stocks Simplified. And good morning to everyone again.
Good morning.
I want you to please feel free to take notes if you can during this presentation. You can also record with your phone if you want to, or whatever electronic device you have. You can also, your questions, I ask that you hold them until our break session, if you would, because but if there's something that's very, very pressing, and that you don't readily understand, I invite you to ask me, because I don't want to lose you in this communications. I want you to, when you walk out of here, to feel grounded in the information that I have shared with you. A relevant snippet of my background is that I have worked for many different job titles within the corporate world. Some of you have met me at 30 Products or in passing, but nonetheless, before then, I had a history of working in the corporate world. And while working in the corporate world, about 36 years ago, I decided that I wanted to find out more about this thing called investing in corporate stock. And so what I did was I reached out to some brokerage firms, and 2 well-known ones at that time, and still relatively known now. One is Merrill Lynch, and they sent me a book, and I read through the book, and simultaneously I called E.F. Hutton, because there used to be a commercial that said, when E.F. Hutton talks, everybody listens. So I wanted to listen to what they had to say, so I reached out to them. The Merrill Lynch firm, they just sent me the book, and I found it very, very interesting and informative, because it taught me how to read the financial pages that you used to find, and may still find, in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. And so I used to read the financial pages, and that helped me to understand what exactly was going on in the market. And then next I had to understand how I could participate in it. And so I didn't have money readily when I spoke to both of those firms, but I found that the E.F. Hutton man kept calling me. He kept calling me periodically. And so after a while, you got a professional firm calling you at your house. I had to confess, I don't have any money right now. And a lot of us, that's where we are in terms of to invest. We might have money, but we're not ready right now to take that plunge into that ocean. So nonetheless, he said, don't worry about it. He kept calling me. So I said, you know what? When I got money, you're the first one I'm calling. And that's what happened. Sometimes when people get laid off from jobs, they say, oh my God, I lost my job. I look at it this way. You give me a severance pay? Oh my God, this is awesome. This is money I didn't have before. And so what I did was I reached out to him with that money that I got paid from the severance job, the first severance pay when I left my employer. So that's a little snippet. 36 years ago, I started investigating and doving into investing in the stock market. The E.F. Hutton man, I went to him with the money. Actually, I called him, and he told me how to send the money to him. He was in New York City, and I was in Westchester, and he said to me, listen, I don't want you to buy them right now. He said this, because I told him I was interested in utility stocks. He said, I want you to hold on to the money, and this utilities in Western, Midwest was about to open up on the stock market. And he said, if you buy then, when they open up selling stocks, you won't have to pay me because they will pay me for finding you. So he was watching my back too, and I loved it. So he was staying in touch, he was watching my back, he had my business. So you're going to find also, if you choose to get involved, watch for those that care about you, that care about your money, even if you mind the conversations with them. Because right now, a lot of people are buying stocks online, and that makes it easy. You don't have to see me, I don't have to see you. We can keep this thing flowing, you know. Okay, so please know one very important thing, everyone. Just, if you can hold on to anything, hold on to this. There is money to be made in the stock market. It's happening. While we're busy going to the malls, it is happening. People are buying stocks. And I was telling this young lady at T-Mobile yesterday, she was telling me about the Google speaker where you could say, turn this music on for me, turn the radio on, turn the TV on. I said, you know what? I'm not ready right now to buy one. You know why? She said, why? I said, because every time you buy one, and all your friends you tell about buy one, and all their friends buy it, and tell others about it, I hear cha-ching, cha-ching, because I bought stocks. I bought stocks in Google, and I bought stocks in Amazon. And so when people are saying, Siri, do this, and Siri, do that, I hear cha-ching. You hear the music that Siri's playing, I hear cha-ching. That means more money that's coming to me. Thank you. So that's the way we have to start thinking. You can earn money. You can start. I opened up my first account with $500 because that's what the firm required. Nowadays, they don't have that requirement. You can open up with $100, maybe $75. I don't know how low they'll go, because the firm I opened up with was Scott Trade, and they have done so well that they recently got bought out by TD Ameritrade. And so TD Ameritrade has a different standard. You can open an account at a low amount. I said to them, what's your minimum? We have no minimum.
Wow.
That means step one in with your dollars. $25, we'll take it, we'll take your business, you know? And you can, believe it or not, buy some stocks that low. And most of the time that low, they're not going to pay you dividends, a lot of firms that sell very low, but some of them do. So, it's important for you to know that. Money's there, waiting for you. These corporations are making a profit, and instead of us shopping at their stores and buying this and buying that, still do it, but invest. Okay.
That's good.
Now, when it comes to buying stock, you have to keep a few things in mind. You have to keep in mind that you really have to look at the companies that you're considering to buy stocks at. You have to investigate. How are they doing in the market? Well, there's a few different ways. You have Yahoo Finance online. You type in yahoo.com/finance, and you can type in the company's name, and you'll see news on the latest news on how they're doing or how they're not doing. They'll even show you the symbol that the company goes under, and I'll cover that a little bit later, because each company, say like Visa goes by the symbol V. How easy is that for you to remember? MasterCard goes with the symbol MA for MasterCard. How easy is that? And you know, when it comes to me buying stocks, I think of what does everybody need or want or think they have to have. We got kids walking around here with MasterCards. You know? I mean, coming from middle class families that barely got any money, but they giving their kid a MasterCard or a Visa. So we know good and well, across this entire globe, people that can have a MasterCard and a Visa. So I chose to buy into MasterCard and Visa. When I bought into them, to give you a quick example, Visa started as an IPO, and I'll cover that later. IPO, which actually I'll let you know, it means initial public offering. That was the first time they came onto the stock market selling their stocks. I bought it for $50 a share when they came out. By the time, let's say about 3 years later, they were worth over $250. And they weren't offering dividends initially, but I had faith in MasterCard and Visa. Everybody's got it, and everybody that don't have one want one. And so I bought the MasterCard as well. I started out with MasterCard at the price of $100 a share. And I crawled whenever I could afford it. Just like you do with your 401k, or just like when you sometimes saving up for a vacation. I put a little money in that stock account, put in there when I could afford one more share. If it meant I put $25, that's all I had, I put $25 in. Nonetheless, within about 4 years, the MasterCard stock at, say, $100 had gone up to $850 a share. It went up so high that the company split the stock. That means that they want more people to buy into their stocks, purchase more stocks. And people, not everybody can pay $850 a share. So what they did was they split it. So that if you had one share that was worth $850, they split it so that each share was $85. Meaning that now your one share was worth 10 shares for $85. So that's a little background. Once you do your investigating about your the stock, the company that you're interested in buying in, and you might have $100 and say, well, that's not much. But let me tell you something. Every dime out of your pocket is much. You want to see that grow for you, because the intent is for that stock that you purchase to make money for you. That's one less job you have to take. That's one less, side job or whatever. Your money is working for you. That's what it's called. That's what it's doing. Your money is working for you, and that's what you want. So you need to do your homework, and it's not difficult at all. Just keep your ears open. Turn on the news sometimes in the evening. There's on CNBC, there's a man called Jim Cramer. He tells you how the stocks are going, how the market is going, how certain companies are doing well in the market. I listen to some of the things, and some of the things I don't listen to, because I've gotten experienced enough to know what to hear and to look for before I take that plunge. So when he says jump in, sometimes he flat out tells you, don't do everything I tell you. You have to do your homework. And when you've done your homework and you've made your choice, you got to believe in your choice. You got to believe in it. And then once you've believed in it, expect to get some financial gain out of it. Expect it. But I'm not saying sit back and relax and don't look at it. Every so often I look at my account. I look at it. How is it doing? And I was away about a month ago, and I was looking at this one company that I have faith in. I did my homework and I have faith in it. And I was looking at it and it was dipping. Well, unfortunately for us, some of the things that the president is saying is causing the market to get skittish. Sometimes it's dipping because people are afraid of the ripples of what he says. So I don't get skittish when I'm confident about my choice. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't be afraid when everybody's saying, I'm jumping off the boat, it's sinking. What did Apostle Paul tell them? Don't get off the boat. We're going to be fine. God said we're going to be fine. So I tell people, please, don't get off the boat. And I had the oil delivery people for me there. The market in 2008 was nosediving because of the banks and all of those bogus mortgages that banks had loaned out. And I was telling her, she was like, I'm losing money in my 401k, I'm losing money in my pension. I said, don't get out the boat. And she kept acting afraid. Eventually, she jumped ship. And the market, of course, after she was jumped ship, losing. I kept telling her, you haven't lost money until you sell it. And she did sell. So when she sold, I didn't tell her, but you've lost money. You've lost money. Because the market is going to bounce back. It's going, you know, with this economy, with this country, they are not going to let the stock market fail. That's one thing you got to know. Because it's a significant backbone of this country. So they're not going to let this market fail. By hook or now they'll be, now, like you saw in 2008, they bailed the banks out, they bailed the car manufacturers out. They was like, who needs money? You know, it's like, can I stand on the line? Thank you very much. You know? But the point is that the economy backbone depends a lot on the healthiness of our large firms, corporate firms, banks, and so they're not going to let it fail if they don't have to. They're not going to let it fail. There are many cash rewards. Some of them I just shared with you about my own experiences. But the point is that when you invest wisely, you're going to get gains of money that didn't come from sweat equity of you working on a job. Thinking on a job, I want to be home, I got this to do and that to do, and you can't be home because you got to work that job. You're making that money. Well, while you're there making that money, your money is working hard for you, making more money, and I like that. That's one thing I don't have to be concerned about. Okay. I just want to give one quote that I think is very significant to me. It's not verbatim, but Jesus said that he came that we might have life and have it more abundantly.
Yeah.
I want that abundant life. I want that abundant life. I love that abundant life. And it's not for the love of money. I don't love money like that. I love the benefits that he allows me through it. And I love him because I know he'll keep giving me the benefits. You know? So I'm not holding on to the money factor, but I'm appreciative of it. So I just wanted to bring that to the forefront to know, you know, that it's not in the pursuit of money, but it's in the pursuit of the comforts that it gives us and the benefits that God allows us in being on the economy like this. Okay. Now I'm going to need a little bit of help, everybody. Who has ever played the game Monopoly? Can you just say, I did?
I did.
Okay, great. So I want to know, how did it feel to receive that free money every time you pass go?
That felt good.
$200. All you had to do was to get your man or your piece
Across that go.
over that line that said, go. Hello.
That's right.
How did it feel?
Yes.
Happy.
How did it feel? Felt good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me my 200. Yeah, I know. That's all I do is walk over that go, but that's okay. Give me the money. You know, and how did it feel when somebody landed on your property?
Even better. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. When you get
You
paid.
bought Boardwalk and Park Place, and they were trying to, all they had to do was get over Boardwalk and Park Place, and they were going to get to that go sign again, so they get $200 more, but, oh my God, they landed on Park Place. Now they got to pay you. How did it feel? How did it feel when you got that money? Good. You know?
Yeah.
And you know, and some of us play video games on our cell phones or whatever, our electronic devices. And you got, every time your scores are going up, and you're like, whoa, I might have the highest score on this. How did it feel?
Feels
An
good.
achievement, right?
Yes.
Like, oh man, I'm getting some momentum here, I'm winning. But guess what? That's something that's intangible. We're talking about something here that's tangible. As the kids might say, cash money. Cash money. Building up on you. Cha-ching, like I said when they say series, play this for me or whatever. I'm thinking cha-ching. You know, likewise, that's what you'll be getting, tangible money when you take that step. It's easy. A lot of people are intimidated. There's nothing to be afraid of. Let go of the $10 bill. Let go of the $100 bill. You're going to be all right. That $100 is going to start making money for you. It's gonna start making money. And all you doing is let it do what it's got to do while you doing what you have to do. Get a little bit more money, you put it in the account. My neighbor just recently opened an account. He asked me about buying stocks last summer. And I suppose he had some money to put in, but he just recently got enough that he was comfortable to put it in and put it into an account. And he's watching his account grow. And I'd like to see every one of us do the same thing with real money. Yes?
I got a question for you. A friend of mine, he was a stockbroker.
Yes.
And he called this, I don't know if it was a lady or a guy. And he says I don't know if it was a lady or the guy, he says, you should buy this stock today because it's up. So the person on the other end said to the stockbroker, said, if it was so good, you should buy it.
Right.
So what is that question?
Once again, I have to go back to what I said a moment ago. That is so important. You have to do your homework. Someone that I trusted said, oh, I found out about this and it's really, really good. And so if I do my homework and it looks safe, I'll test the waters.
So what would you have done?
I would
If I was a broker and you got the stock, I'm trying to get you to buy stock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I says to you, Mary Jane, you should buy this stock today because it's way up. What would you do?
I'm going to go to Yahoo Finance and I'm going to look and see how long has that company been in business? How long? This is what I'm going to do. This is what you have to do. You can't take people's word at it. You can't even take a broker's word. I just shared with you, Jim Cramer is on TV, and I don't take his word at face value. You can't. It's your money. You have to do your homework. If you don't do your homework, then you run the risk of it not doing like they hyped you up to think, and then who's the loser? You. You have to do your homework. I would go to Yahoo Finance. I would investigate the company. It tells you how they've been doing. There's also charts online that can show you how often they've been up, how often they've been down, and how long they've been down. And also my account has graphs in it and charts. And I don't need to get detailed into reading charts. I basically look at how is the company doing. And I look at the forecast of the company. I would never buy a stock based on anybody's recommendation. I did it one time, but I only bought a few, and that thing nosedived. It was not Fannie Mae, but it was a federal government stock. And when the housing in 2008, when the housing market dove because of the bogus mortgages, I took a little hit. It was so little because, like I said, I tested the waters. I figured it was safe because it was federal, but nonetheless, I looked at the immense gains that I got from other stocks that it didn't faze me about that small loss. I lost maybe like $200 when I was gaining like thousands elsewhere. But I'd never make a move based on just what somebody says. I will do my homework. You can't get caught up in the hype. Okay. So, believe it or not, depending on your mindset, just like you won money in the game Monopoly, remember, it was a game. And you were caught up into the fact that it was a game. And you were caught up into the fact of having fun and achieving. Well, likewise, if you get the same mindset with buying and selling stocks, you'll see how much you'll just blossom into it. It's a mindset. You got to see the game in it. The game seeing the game in it will encourage you, will spark you, will give you the drive, and not just the game in it, but the gain in it. There's stuff to be gained. And I'm going to get a little bit more into that. So it's exciting. It's exciting if you get the mindset that's right. And that's why I'm here, to hopefully break that ice that people might have, that they say it is a game. And there is game. And I want to be in it. I want to be in the game.
Chance taken.
Exactly. But the thing is that you're investing wisely. A lot of people look at it as a rolling of the dice, but it's not if you do your homework. It's not. Just like I told you, just like I shared with you, just like I shared with you about MasterCard and Visa, it was no rolling dice. Because I knew that everybody, this whole world economy would collapse if they let MasterCard and Visa not be in functioning the way it is. Someone years ago told me, we're going to go to a cashless society, and I said, how on earth is that going to happen? Everybody's walking around with Visa card, MasterCard, debit cards. We are transitioning heavily to a cashless society. And so what I said, when I was realizing that, and also let me tell you two other key factors about MasterCard and Visa, and then I'm going to move on, because there's many companies for you to look at in investing. Something that a lot of people don't realize is that with MasterCard and with Visa, when someone can't pay their Visa bill or their MasterCard bill, Visa, the company, and MasterCard, the company, does not take the hit. Why don't they take the hit if somebody's not paying their bill? Because when you look at your MasterCard or your Visa, what does it say? Chase, MasterCard. Citibank, MasterCard. Sears, Visa. Credit Union, Visa. So who's taking the hit? The credit union. They have to, or the banks, they have to pay, or the retail companies, they have to pay MasterCard and Visa for the leasing rights, or whatever rights is called, to have those logos and sell under that company name. They have to pay their fees to MasterCard and to Visa, whether Chase Bank's customers pay or not, whether Bank of America bank customers pay or not, they still have to pay that money to MasterCard and Visa. So my point is that you're investing, if you choose to go that way, because I'm not recommending any stock to anyone, because you have to do your homework. You have to. It's your money. Hold on to it like it's your money. Be wise with it like it's your money, because it is your money. But the point is that I suspected, based on the two factors, that everybody wants to have, or either have a MasterCard or Visa, and secondly, that they don't take the hit when the customers don't pay their bill. I said, this sounds relatively safe. Likewise, when I first started buying stock, I chose to buy utility stock. Everybody needs, you will not eat dinner if you got to pay that company and they're about to turn your lights off. You will not eat dinner. You will go run down there and pay that electric bill. Especially if you know you got company coming over and you don't have not have lights on. So I chose to first invest in utility stock.
A lot of people invest in oil too.
Investing?
Oil.
Oh, or. Once again, you want to do your homework. You have to do your homework. If you go on just hearsay, it's not good enough. Like people say gold. And it may be gold and silver, but you have to do your homework. Okay. You buy shares in a corporation whose per share stock price value increases. That's one thing you definitely want to keep in mind. You want to buy in a company that you see a trend that the stock price value is increasing. And you want to watch how it's increasing. And you want to watch if it dips some, watch it. Don't just buy and turn away from it. You want to watch it. Also, you want to buy stocks that pay you dividends. And that's from the company earnings. Now, when I bought MasterCard and Visa, they weren't paying dividends. But I was banking on the growth factor. So there's two factors you might want to think of, and, along with others, but two key factors. What's the growth potential? And then secondly, are they going to pay me dividends? Well, I figured, okay, they're not paying dividends, those two companies, but if they keep growing, they're going to pay dividends, and they did start. About 2 years after I bought them, they started paying dividends. The dividends sometimes are not that high with certain companies, so you have to once again do your homework, because some companies do pay a lot. They do pay a lot. And you want to watch if the company is starting to perform, their stocks are starting to perform poorly. If they're performing poorly, you want to know, okay, let me keep an eye on this. Like I said, don't jump ship too soon. Because, like I said, about a month ago, I was watching a stock, and it was starting to perform poorly. I knew that certain things that were happening was making it dip some, so I held off on selling it because I had faith in the choice, the investment choice that I made. And so I kept a watch on it, and ultimately, the stock share per price started going back up. So I was glad I didn't bail out of it. I was confident. I did my homework. When you don't do your homework or you let somebody else do your homework, like I was trying to tell someone years ago, maybe about 7 years ago, about buying stocks. And, oh, I lost a lot of money, I lost. And she's trying to talk over me, talking about the fact that she lost a lot of money. And so the point is she lost a lot of money to the fact that I ended up pulling out of her. And that is that she let someone else make the choices for her. She gave her money to someone, told them to take and invest it. She did no homework. So what do you want? You basically didn't invest in stock, you invested in somebody else. And if you think about it, if you know a little history, a lot of the actors in yesteryears were doing that. They were counting on their accountants and their lawyers to invest their money. John Wayne is one example. I like to sometimes watch these history comments about these actors and people that have aspired financially. John Wayne, as some of us may know, was doing a lot of cowboy and Indian pictures in the beginning. Well, when he got older, he was ready to retire, and he found out that his accountant had invested his money into God knows where, maybe even into his own pocket. But the bottom line is John Wayne didn't have money and found that he had to start doing war pictures when he was ready to retire because he had no money. The accountant had written them off with bad investments or a combination of. So you don't want anybody to make the decisions for you. You want to do your own homework. It's not difficult. Like I said, get the idea of a game in your mind. The game and the gain. You want to keep that in your mind. You have, like the Bible says, we need to renew our mind daily. So basically what I'm advising is that you renew your thinking. Now we're going to talk a little stock terminology. And that's words that they use in the market, stock market arena of buying and selling corporate stock. First of all, when they say that they want to buy, when someone wants to buy or sell stocks, it's called trading. When you look on the websites, online websites, you'll see where it'll say trade. You click on that, and it opens up a screen that lets you know that you can buy or sell. You know, and you have different choices, and we're going to hopefully squeeze in looking at one of the websites and see how far we can go in terms of you looking at what they offer on the website. Some of these websites you can go, you know, you can say that you're going to join, and you can go into answering the questions, but if you know that you don't want to join now, you can back out of it. But the fact is that you're exploring. You're exploring, and you're getting to see how easy it is. It's just like when a child gets up to walk, and they start wobbling, and they fall down, but nonetheless, we're walking now. Right. You know, and it's just that easy with stocks. Get up and do it. Start with $100 or whatever you're comfortable with. If you got 1,000, start with 1,000. You know, whatever you're comfortable with, and after a while, you'll be running. And you're like, wow, this is really easy. I'm glad I took that first step.
Yeah.
Okay, the word shares. Many of you might know some of this stuff, but I do want to walk through it for those who don't know. And then also the terminology, the analysis that I got may give you a deeper understanding and deeper meaning. Shares. In the financial market, a share is a unit of account for various investments. A unit of account for various investments. It often means the stock of a corporation. And this is where we're going to focus. Corporations issue shares which are offered for sale to raise share capital. They're on a mission to raise money, in other words. But they're raising money through selling shares. The owner of shares in the corporation is a stockholder. So as we buy stocks, we are stockholders in that particular corporation. A share is an inseparable unit of capital expressing the ownership relationship between the company and the shareholder. So as soon as you buy even just one share, you have an inseparable unit of capital, making you to have an ownership relationship with that company as a shareholder. How many of us have, an obvious question, but how many of us have electricity in our residence?
I do.
Everybody got electricity in their
Yes,
residence?
yes.
Let me ask you. Sometimes you get tired of paying that electric bill. It keep
Yes.
coming around per month, and sometimes you're looking at it saying, did I use that much?
Yeah.
I was,
I just picked you.
yeah, didn't I just pay you? For example, I was away and for like 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks, and I came back and I looked at my bill. And I was like, wait a minute. And I got on the phone with them. And they said, whoop, I know where you're going to go. We had a snowstorm. We couldn't get out and read the meters. Because I was like, wait a minute. You know, but my point coming to you with that is how would you like for those utilities to pay you?
Oh, I would. Definitely.
How would you like them to pay
I love
you?
that. I love that.
We've been paying them, and we're going to pay them forever as long as we got electricity and it's set up the way it's set up. I used to live in Westchester, and Con Ed was hot. Give us our money, and I was like, I'm so tired of paying these people, but you don't have a choice. They got you back up against the wall. Well, guess what? When I started buying more stocks, one of the first companies I went to look for was Con Ed, and they paid dividends. So I got the growth as the stock value went up. If I bought a share, say, for $30, and it went up to 40, and then 50, and then 60, and they were paying me dividends, now that one $30 share was worth $60, $69, and as they go up, they're paying you. As they're getting paid by every one of us, they're paying you. Who doesn't like that? Can I get one hand on who doesn't like that idea? Pay me. Thank you very much. I've been paying you for what? How many years? Thank you. I'll take the money. Just hand it over. Now with the dividends, it depends on the company. That's why it's important for you to do your homework. Looking at Yahoo Finance. If you log on to, if you open up an account with these online brokers, it will tell you how much money that you'll be paid in the dividends, and it will tell you how often you're going to be paid. Some companies pay every 3 months they pay dividends to you. Some companies don't pay dividends at all, and you want to look out for that. Because what is your focus? If you want the biggest amount of growth, you can go for a company that's doing well and the stock value's going up, plus they're paying dividends. Or if you're satisfied with just the growth potential and they don't pay dividends, then buy that stock, but you have to do your homework. Some companies, once again, pay every 3 months, some pay semi-annually, and some pay only annually. And sometimes when you see that they pay annually, you're more so focused on, okay, they pay me $6 a year. Well, divide that by 12 months. and you see how little that is. So I don't want that annual dollar amount of $6 for me. And besides, I gave you my money and I'm only getting $6, per share. I want the maximum amount that you are willing to pay me. So I'm going to move on to somebody that's going to pay me $6 every 3 months per share. So these are some things you want to watch out when you look online. You're about to ask a question?
No, it's okay, go ahead.
Okay, you got that. I'm glad you got the wheels turning. We're going to have also a question and answer session where I'm going to let you barrage me, and I'm going to gird up my guns to gird up yours. Okay. Like I said, when I started buying stocks and I was tired of paying that utilities bill, which I knew was inescapable, I said, you know what? I love flipping the script. Don't you like flipping the script? I've been paying you forever, now you pay me. And you do it gladly, because why? Because you're encouraging me and other people to buy more of your shares. So it's a win for them, and it's a win for me. And it'll be a win for you. Okay, now I want to give you one example of one company. Who knows about this company called Facebook? Okay, so Facebook, the company Facebook started selling stocks on the stock market maybe about 5 years, actually it was 5 years ago. And they started selling it as $38. That's what the opening sale per share was. So we're not, they call that on the first day, that's the initial public offering. They call that IPO. So if you ever hear that on the TV, the IPO is, for this company, and it's $38. That's the initial public offering. Well, on the first day, say you bought on the second day. We're not usually able to buy on the first day, and you wonder why we can't buy on the first day, because the brokers have it locked down right now for the initial public offering on the first day, that they sell only to their clients that are high rollers. I'm going to break it down like that. Those that have big accounts, those that are their favorite clients. For us, though, we can buy on the second day. It didn't used to be that way, because I bought, my initial purchase was an IPO. So we can buy on the second day and any thereafter. So just imagine this. By the second day, that $38 public offering, 38 had bounced up to $50 in one day. That $38 investment bounced up to $50. So you can imagine what's going to come later on. So now, fast forward to today, believe it or not, and I should have held on to the two stocks because I'll test the water sometimes. And I test the water with Facebook. I bought 2 shares. I said, see, what I couldn't get in my mind, because I couldn't see that far down the road enough, is that how is Facebook going to get their money besides selling stock? Okay, you sold me stocks, but how else are you going to get your money? Because I want to look at the growth potential. You're not selling, you're not paying dividends because you're too new at it. So how am I going to get my money to grow? And so that's what I was a little skittish about, so I backed out. But nonetheless, let's fast forward to today. The initial public offering was for $38 per share. Now, this week, it was $186 per share. So, the monetary value of a share is its face value. The monetary value of a share is its face value. I'll break it down a little bit more in a second. The total of the face value of issued shares represent the capital of a company. I'm going to read that again. The monetary value of a share is its face value. So that means if it's says $38, it's worth $38. That's the monetary value. The total of the face value of issued shares represent the capital of a company, which means, for instance, Facebook has currently issued 18,059,212 shares. So, its capital is the stock price per share multiplied, once again, Facebook's capital is stock price per share multiplied by 18,059,221 shares. So we said earlier that the shares currently are worth $186. So if you were to multiply the amount of shares times $186, you come up with the capital that they raised as of today from selling shares. They made over $3,359,013,432 just from selling shares. People saying, I think that this is a wise place to put some money. So I want to ask a question. Some of it might seem ridiculous, or some of it might not. But who would like to have part ownership in that company, Facebook? Who would like to get some of that? 18,059 million.
I would.
I'm sorry. Who would like to get a part of that?
Yes.
3 billion.
Yes.
359 million. 13,432. Who wants to get some of that?
I do.
I take a slice. So, you know, sometimes you look at a company and you say, okay, I think that this might do something for me. I've done my homework. Like I said, I bought 2. I backed out. But see, that's okay because I've made money elsewhere. To the point where if I want to, I could go buy a few shares for $186. So I've made money somewhere else. So I don't sweat it's not a loss to me. Mm-hmm. You got to make your call, and you got to be happy with it. You got to be comfortable with it, and don't go jumping all over the market, buying here, there, and everywhere. You got to be confident about your homework. The capital of a company will be reflected in the market value of their share. Once again, the capital of a company will be reflected in the market value of their shares because the value changes as the market price per share increases or decreases throughout the stock market trading days. So if you would have bought 5 shares of Facebook at $50, your cost would have been $250. However, as of this week, where I mentioned that the stock per share is $186 times 5, because you bought 5 shares, your share ownership, or your stockholder ownership, would be worth $930. Now, initially, it was just $250 put out. So that means that you profited $680 within the 5 years that Facebook has been on the market. Let me ask you something. Did you have to type anything to get that $630? Did you have to get up early in the morning and had to, figure out what you're going to wear for the day and get into it? And go to a JOB to get that $630? Okay,
No.
okay. Just wondering. No sweat equity. All you had to do was go to your computer and say, I want to buy 5 shares of Facebook, and then leave it there. And then watch it. Is it going up? Is it going down? What should I do with it? I'll keep it there. Maybe I'll buy more. That that $38 initial price per share has now gone up to $60 or $70. I'll buy more. What do you hear? I hear, cha-ching, cha-ching. Thank you. I love it. And I don't have to put my money out. You're paying me because it's growing. I'm growing with you. I'm going with you. We have to change our mindset and focus on the game and focus on the gain. We need to stop saying, I can't do this. You just go log on to an account, a website, and we'll talk about some of them. And you'll see how easy it is. They want your money because it helps to support the economy of this country and this world, believe it or not, because there's so many people in other countries that are investing in this country. All of the companies in this country. So I want to give you just a little bit of history about Facebook, because you got to be encouraged to do your homework. On May 18, 2012, Facebook held its initial public offering, and at that time it was the largest technology IPO in USA, in the US history, USA history. Facebook at that time offered only 421,233,615 shares at $38 a share. And they raised, now you heard, when they initially offered, and that was in May of 2012, and then once again they offered 4,233,615 shares, and in that first one day, for the $38 a share, they raised 16 billion, 16.7 billion dollars through that one day. One day. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. And we think more so about going to a JOB, and that's okay. But let's think beyond that. Go to my JOB. But also, I'm going to peek into the internet and see what's going on. I'm looking at technology, and I'm looking at how it's growing and it's going forward in the speed of light. How can I grab onto this light, this streak of light, and flow with it? Everybody wants to run and get the latest and the greatest. That's okay, but why not? Cash in and get a little money from it. Go with the flow like that too. Besides the stock growth value, the income you will receive from the ownership of shares is the dividend. Like I said, there's some companies that pay dividends. But, right now, Facebook does not pay dividends. But one day they may be just so loaded with money, I don't mind them thinking about me and paying dividends. Because what happens, like, I don't know with Apple, I haven't checked Apple lately, but Apple at one point was getting negative press coverage because they weren't paying dividends to their stock shareholders. They're saying, okay, you're selling these electronic devices, you got lines 4, 5, 6 blocks long, people sleeping out there waiting for your stores to open just so they could buy the device, but you won't pay dividends to your shareholders, so they got negative press. And my point is with that is that some companies don't like negative press, so they'll, the press will squeeze you and make you pay some dividends. encourage you to pay some dividends. People just don't want to keep giving you their money and investing in your company, and you're not giving them any benefits besides the growth. You know, give me the double effect. You're getting the triple or whatever amount of effect. I want some of it too. You know, that's the purpose why we are investing, because we want to see our money grow for us. The process of purchasing and selling shares often involves going through a stockbroker as a middleman or person. However, as I mentioned to you, there are different companies that offer online purchasing and selling, and it's very, very easy. Now we're just going to take a short break, and I'm going to get some of your questions, you know, I want y'all to have a comfort level, because I want y'all to say, you know, hey, I could jump into this water and I could swim, not just jump in and maybe, you know, go up and down water. I could swim, you know, because I've been shown how to make the strokes.
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions.
I have one.
Yes.
We were saying about, you know, going online and investing, you know. My question is that like safe?
Yes. First of all, these brokerage firms, they're not going to let you. They're not going to, you know, I've had but there's Experian, there's TransUnion, the credit watchers. We've had even them being tapped in and having problems. IBM, I used to work for them, and they had a problem too. I had to send us a notice and tell us that they were going to watch our 401ks and stuff. But I'll be honest with you, I've had a stock trade account for a lot of years, and I have not one time gotten a notice that their information was breached. Not one time. And I thank God about that. Also, my bank, I had never got a notice from them that they've been breached. And I do my online buying all the time. Well, I used to sometimes go to the firm and give them stock trade and give them the money. But then, you know, a light bulb went on and said, I could do it online. Why go there? I'm taking my lunch break to run there. So, yes, they're safe. They don't want you messing with. They don't want hackers messing with their money and messing with you, because that means you'll bail out. You'll bail out of investing in that firm. You know, safely feeling safe about them having your money so that you can buy and sell. So they're going to do everything to safeguard. They don't play around. You know, it's unfortunate that some companies think they're not playing around, but they still get hacked. There's something wrong if you're getting hacked. So I found it exceedingly. I've never had a problem, and I pray I never do.
So, okay, recently, can you purchase stock in a company that you work for without it being?
Well, some companies don't sell stock. Like my local utility company, I found, because once again, I'm like, if I'm paying you, I want you to start paying me. So I found in doing my homework that they don't sell stock. But I found that they were partnered with a company called National Grid. And I said, if I can't buy your stock, well, I'm going to buy your partner's stock. Because y'all got all of Long Island, you've got parts of Brooklyn. When I be in Westchester and I see National Grid vehicles being driven around there. Also, National Grid is an international company. They function out of England. And so I bought into National Grid. And I played that card like you play any card. And when you say you want to see something better or different or more growth potential, you sell that card or hand in that card and you play another card. So that's what I did. And so some companies do not sell stocks. But there's another way to get at them if they have a partner to get the money that they're making, you know. And then also if you work for the company, sometimes they have employees stock sharing or something. I forget the terminology, where you can buy, you know, as an employee, they give you a discount. I used to work for IBM, and so they gave us discounts. While y'all might have paid like $100, we were paying $75. We had the employee discount to buy shares. And I had a feeling that IBM was going to hit a bump in the road, and they did. And those shares went down to $47, $45, something like that, but it didn't faze me because I had sold mine at 100 or something. So you have to watch out for, I don't care who the company is, you have to watch out for potential bumps in their road. And when they hit a bump, that's fine. They'll recover, they'll find a way, but I don't want to go with them. I want a smooth sailing if I can have it. Who doesn't want smooth sailing? I don't like bumps in the road. They cause problems on my car. Any other questions? Yeah, I'm looking at you. His brain is like turning. Marguerite, can you think of anything? Marguerite, sorry. If anything comes to mind, this is all great, but if anything comes to mind, catch my attention. I'll stop and we'll, because sometimes, it's later on like, oh yeah. Like I was at T-Mobile yesterday and I tried to hit them with every question I could think about for this new phone I bought. I mean, what's the sense in having a phone and you're like, what do I do with it? I didn't even know how to answer a call. People calling me and I'm looking at the phone, I'm, Lord, I got to get to T-Mobile. So when I was there, questions came and some of the questions I forgot. And I was like, just give me a minute. Go help somebody else. Oh yeah. And I'm calling back over for the question. So feel free, get my attention, I'll answer your question. Because I want everybody to have a comfort level. I want you to feel like, hey, I can do this thing. It's easy. It's easy. You heard how much that Facebook made in one sale day of their shares. $16.7 billion in one day. And we wonder why Zuckerman is so filthy rich. And they don't offer dividends yet. Yep, and so anyway, there are two different types of stock. However, we're going to be focusing on learning about common stocks and preferred stocks. Those are the two typical types that are sold through corporations. And each type has its different benefits. And I'm not going to go through a lot of definitions because some of these things you can look up on the internet easily. There's common stock and there's preferred stock. And companies sometimes sell both, and sometimes a company might sell only one type or the other. And each type has its benefits. So you want to read the definition of preferred stock and common stock, and you want to look at the benefits. You can see when you go online to make your purchase, you can see if they're offering common stock or preferred stock. It'll readily let you know. One thing I like about preferred stock is, well, it depends on the company, but one thing I like is choosing the stock that when the company hits a speed bump, that company is still going to pay me if they have to do a Chapter 13 or whatever. They're still going to pay me because I have that type of stock. Yeah. Common stock, sometimes it's common stocks at the company where they still pay you even though they're in, bankruptcy mode. They still have to pay those people and have that kind of stock. So you want to pay attention to stuff like that. But I'll be honest with you, when you choose a stock that's doing well, a company that's doing well, I don't usually go into companies that look shaky. Yeah. I try to make certain that I go into safe territories because I've worked hard for the money that I have. And there's so many times in the corporate world I didn't get what I thought I should have gotten in terms of pay. And I'm sure a lot of us felt like that at one time or another. So my money, I want to handle it wisely. Like I said, if you got $25, don't say, oh, I just got $25. No, that's $25 you had to work for. Invest it wisely. Make that $25 $100. And if you invest $125 in that company and each one of them become $100, just imagine how much money you got. also never downplay how much you start off with. Like I said, I started my initial investment actually years ago. It was $2,000 for 100 shares. I'm sorry, $1,800 for 100 shares. But this account, online account that I have now, I started it with $500. And I tried to encourage a co-worker to join in on, starting to buy stocks. And we would talk about it sometimes about buying stocks, but she never took the plunge. And it was like 10 years later, she said to me, I wish I would have gone in when you told me to. Because things happened in her life, and she needed money, and she didn't have money. But that's okay, because she had a friend, and I prayed her through. And I'm sure many of her other friends prayed her through. So now she's doing well. But she had a speed bump for that.
Okay, so if she had purchased the stock when you did, and she came up with this issue, she could have sold some of the stocks.
You can sell whatever you want to, whenever you want to, how much you want to, how few you want, or, like I have sold, there was one telephone company that is very, very invested in the U.S. economy. And you would think that they are doing exceedingly well, but I keep watching my stocks. I don't care what your company name is, I'm going to watch your stock. And the price was dipping, although they were buying other significant companies. And I'm like, why is your stock dipping? Yes, you're paying me dividends, and I'm going to keep it because you're paying me dividends, but I don't like that your company stock is dipping per share, and you're buying significant other companies that people are using their services. And so what I did was I sold. I had 100 shares. I chose to sell like 70 something, and I put the other money into something that was functioning better for me. So I didn't let them go, because I'm banking on the fact with those other significant companies that they have bought, that eventually their stock per share value is going to grow. But while they're in the eventually mode, I'm into, I got to take some of the money and go elsewhere mode. So I only sold some.
When you're doing the stocks like online, see, one thing you have to understand, you could have 800 shares, right? And while you're online, playing with it online, trying to buy whatever or invest, you can hit one button and you lost it all.
No, it's not that easy.
It's not that.
It's not that easy.
Well, a friend of mine did.
Well, I don't know where your friend did it, and I don't know how he did, because a lot of things. Once again, you got a lot of novice that they need to learn.
I don't know what he did, what button he hit.
Yeah, I don't know what he did too, because I'll be honest with you, there is no way on planet Earth that you can hit one button. If you're,
I don't know if you're trying to buy or trying to sell or whatever.
Yeah.
But one click, he lost it all.
You want to be knowledgeable when you hear people tell you horror stories. You want to be knowledgeable, because let's face the reality of this world. When you go to venture into something that's going to yield you great benefits, or even benefits, you're going to have a lot of naysayers. And don't fool yourself. We're seasoned with a few years in our life to know that we have encountered a lot of naysayers. Like I shared with you earlier, I went to tell someone about buying stocks because she was telling me that she was about to come into some money. Well, that's good, you're going to come into some money, but you need a plan when you get that money, before you get that money. And I went to tell her about, investing. And then I had someone else that was a reputable person in her profession, not in stock market, but in her profession. And so she went raving about how she lost a lot of money. And after she got through ranting, I said, well, was it an account that you were managing? No, I gave it to the broker, and well, there's your problem. I'm not telling her that because she's so forceful about not buying stocks. Listen, I'm not going to be nobody over the head with wisdom. Take it or leave it. I'm not going to. What does the Bible say? Wisdom cries out in the street.
With a loud voice.
Cries. Why is she crying? Wisdom is crying because ain't nobody listening. You'd rather listen to the naysayers. The door is open. It's open. Run that way have to be vigilant, and we have to be aware that there are naysayers, and there are people with horror stories. They are, because they didn't know what they were doing, or they didn't trust the right person. All of us have lost money along the way somewhere or another because we didn't trust the right person. Maybe the person didn't intend for us to lose the money. Maybe some of them did. In other words, we got to walk in wisdom in life. That's the bottom line. We got to walk in wisdom. Yeah. So, I told you about an IPO, which is called Initial Public Offering. Usually, like I said before, that's offering to all of the people that stockbrokers, their clients that are heavy investors. But the door is open for us on the second day and thereafter. Okay, we're going to focus on corporations for a moment. When corporations achieve a certain income level, they have the option of applying to join a stock market for investors to buy their corporate stocks. Two major stock markets that we will be focusing on is one, the New York Stock Exchange, and then the other one is called NASDAQ. NASDAQ is short acronym for National Association of Securities Dealers Automated Quotation System. There's a lot of other stock markets, also, believe it or not, in this country. And there's also other stock markets in this world. But those are the two stock markets. And here's a list y'all can pass around to one another. A lot of other stock markets that are just in this one country. I had no clue there was so many because, my mind, I had tunnel vision. Just where's the money? Where's the money? But we need to sometimes open up that vision and look elsewhere, So, a nice little piece of information that I'm going to share with you. And Violin, you can have that copy. That's going to be yours. After everybody sees it, that's yours. Back a few years ago, my youngest son he wanted to go on a trip. His class was going on a trip to Spain, and he was like in 6th grade, I think it was, and he really wanted to go. He wanted to go, and I had a speed bump in life, and I couldn't afford to send him. And so I had to fess up. But I said, you know what, baby, I think I have a good alternative. I chose to set up the whole week that his classmates were going to be away for us to go to New York City and enjoy things. We went to we had a guided tour through the United Nations. But why I bring this up is I set up a guided tour at the New York Stock Exchange. When you stand at the spectator's window and you're watching all this, buying and selling and buying and selling, you can feel, sometimes we go to New York City, you can feel, just being in New York City, you can feel the energy all around you. Well, just imagine being at the New York Stock Exchange and all that energy of buying and selling, billions and billions and billions of shares being sold and trillions of dollars being made, and just, the list goes on of the excitement. Well, that actually, believe it or not, was the second time that I was there at the New York Stock Exchange, being able to have a guided tour. But I was happy that I was able to bring him that, to see that. And why I mention it is a lot of reasons why, but one reason in particular is that when I saw on the internet, I called them just this week, the New York Stock Exchange. And I wanted to tell you all that the guided tours were still available. That's what I wanted to tell you all today. But I found out the reality of it all. As of September 11, 2001, they no longer offer guided tours. So I called my son, because as a kid, he missed going to Spain with his classmates. So I called him just recently, this week, when I found this out, and I said, hon, guess what? You had an experience that your classmates will never have. Will never have. He can go to Spain now if he wanted to. Easily.
his classmates will never have that experience. They shut it down. After that terrorist attack, no one goes on any tours
Where money is.
where money is and where it would affect the world economy system if something went wrong. No longer allowed. So that gave him a little treasure, you know. We missed the mark on Spain, but he has done so well. He has done so well. Understand. My sons, I always fed them. Life is a game. You do well, you please God, He's going to please you. And so he has done so well financially. Going to Spain is an easy thing for him financially. I want us to all be able to say it's an easy thing. It's an easy thing for me. Why? Because you have made money besides sweat equity money. We need to start functioning wiser and smarter. Believe it or not, as of last month, the statistic is that only 52% of Americans are invested in the stock market. Only 52% of Americans. So where's the other percentage coming from? From all around the world. We're sitting here in a pot full of money. And people from all around the world are gaining from it. My cousin was talking to me this morning, and she was talking about, how foreigners come here to this country, and they go see my cousin Vicky was talking this morning, how foreigners come and they go to the Statue of Liberty, they go to Ellis Island, and if you talk to them, they've been to the Empire State Building, and some of them been to the World Trade Center when it was there. Believe it or not, some people in this country that didn't go to the World Trade Center, unfortunately, will never be able to go. But there's a whole ton of foreigners that went there. So sometimes we take for granted what's right here around us. We need to stop taking certain things like this, the stock market, for granted. I like money to help me. And when it's not sweat equity money, especially. When I'm grinding, I got to get out there and I got to hustle all the time. I can't make a dollar unless I make the dollar with you. And you got to tell me you're going to give me a 50 cents raise for the year or something like that. 50 cents, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll take the dollars for the stock market. Thank you. There's money to be earned, and we got to change our mind, get into the game, and get into the gain. We need to be encouraged. And I'm hoping that, that this session encourages everybody. There's money out there, and people are making it. People from other countries are making it, and we're sitting back here thinking about the sweat equity money. Well, that is good, and it's all important, and it has a lot of benefits. We got to also go think about the gain that does not require sweat equity. Now, I'm going to mention some websites. And if you would, jot them down. And these are websites that are reliable, safe, and some of them have customer service phone numbers that you can call so that you can ask questions. They welcome your questions. They want you to know that they have your interest in mind. So one company is called, the web address is www.us.etrade, E as in Edward, trade.com. That's www.u as in United, S as in Sam, dot, E as in Edward, trade.com. And then you have another one. You have www.us.etrade.com. www.tdameritrade.com. Then there's another one, www.schwab, that's S as in Sam, CHAB as in boy.com. And that's just three major ones that I'm going to mention right now. Violin, that's for you, Keith. Why did I say www before each one? Because they let you know that when, that's called the URL for each one of those companies. And they people let you know that that's in the technological field. It's important to use the www because it's going to increase the likelihood that you will plug into that official website and not accidentally get into a bogus one. And we know we've got a lot of bogus stuff going on nowadays. So it's important to put that www dot in front, and that's why I kept mentioning it over and over again. Now in the stock market arena, they have something called the Dow Jones Index. Some people may have heard of that. It's called the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I just want to give some clarity to everybody on that. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is a price-weighted average of 30 significant stocks traded on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was invented by Charles Dow back in 1896. When the TV networks say the market is up today, they are generally referring to the Dow. Once again, the Dow is comprised of 30 significant stocks traded in the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. When they say the Dow is down today, it's significant to me, and I'll cover that in a second because I want to give you something else. Along with the Dow Jones Industrial Index, you have this S&P 500, which is called Standard & Poor's 500 Index. And that is an index of 505 stocks issued by 500 large companies with market capitalization of at least $6.1 billion. Once again, I'm going to read that again. The S&P, or Standard & Poor's Index, is 505 stocks issued by 500 large companies with market capitalization of at least $6 billion. It is seen as a leading index of the United States equity and a reflection of the performance of the large cap universe, meaning the large cap companies. I like to go by the Standard & Poor's more than Dow Jones. Teach his own. But my point is if you don't have stocks or the predominant part of your account comprised of companies that's in the Dow Jones Index, then you don't have to sweat if the Dow is down. If the S&P 500 is up, and your companies are mainly in the S&P 500, you're not going to sweat. But you're going to definitely keep an eye on what's going on in all of your stock accounts. So when they say the Dow Jones is down, and someone might come to you and want to throw you into a tailspin because they know you invest in stocks, oh, I told you there are naysayers out there. Just recently, a political person, I won't say any name, said something and stock market started diving because that person is people are watching and listening to his tweets. And so the market took a dive, and someone, like I said, naysayers, oh, how's your account doing? Mine's doing fine. Mine's doing fine, because I did my homework, and while some of my investments are in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, there's a lot that is not. We're talking about 505 stocks in 500 large firms. So I go with the Standard & Poor's. That doesn't mean we don't pay attention to our accounts, how they're doing and everything, but that means that don't let one indicator throw you into a tailspin. Like 2008, people were like, they were, almost some of them were, they said were committing suicide.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, there is a tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, do the best you can today and then see how the outcome is tomorrow. Believe it or not, I'm going to throw little factors at you all that you may or may not know. We are enjoying FM radio, aren't we?
Yes.
You're enjoying FM radio, right?
Yes.
It was invented by a man that used to love, I don't remember his name, used to love going up on high towers and sitting up there. Thank God for inventors. Some of the things they do to get to where they go. So he invented the FM radio. Back then, before him, there was just AM, and he was tired of the reception. So he went into manufacturing and, coming up with the idea of FM radio, and we enjoy it even to today. But nonetheless, back in the day when he was successful with it, his partners ripped him off. And then we had the Great Depression. And the man took a nosedive like other people that did back in those days. Went and jumped out of windows. Went up to the highest building because he liked heights and jumped. Well, his wife didn't give up on the fact that his partners ripped him off. And she sued them. There's a tomorrow, everybody. His wife got paid. She got paid. And he got smashed. It's like, don't get smashed. Don't give up on tomorrow. Don't give up on God, because he won't give up on you.
Amen.
She got paid. There's a few pointers that I'm just going to skip through for time's sake, so we can take a break and all of us can chow on a treat that Apostle Norclete Smith has blessed us with. Okay. Take one moment, everybody, if you would, with your phone or whatever, and log on to yahoo.com, www.yahoo.com/finance, and then go. Now I'm going to put the microphone down a minute and walk around and look at what you're looking at. Okay. www. Oh, that's okay. www. So you want to move up so you can see you can see it, guy. X-ray vision.
She's got a pretty big phone.
Finance?
Yeah. www.yahoo.com/finance. /finance. And hit enter. Now go up to the search and put the letter V as in Visa.
Okay, Visa Inc.
Yep.
Vanguard.
Well, you know what? Say you don't know the symbol. That's called a symbol. Say you don't know the symbol, so you just type in Visa, V-I-S-A, in the search box.
Visa Inc.
Just type Visa. That's all. Visa. And you see it, a lot comes down, but you're going to tap on Visa. You see it says V for, that's the symbol for Visa. Now look what it tells you. It tells you how much it's currently sold for. It gives you a chart on how it's been doing. If if you see the chart, and what does this say down there, right there?
10 a.m., 12 p.m.
That's for the day.
And then it
Yep.
says 1 day SD,
Okay, so you can,
5 day,
Yep.
1 month,
You
6
can-
months, year to date, 1 year.
okay, say that a little bit louder.
It gives you could do 1 day, 5 days, 1 month, 6 months, year to date, or 1 year, or 5 years, or.
So in other words, it gives you the option to see how Visa has been performing. You can look at it, 5-day activity, 3-month activity, 1-year activity, 5-year activity. So that's called doing your homework. How is it performing? How has it been performing? Just not, some people just see dollar signs when it says it's performing, 100 and whatever today, and I'm gonna jump in. No, you can't be emotional about this thing. You can't be emotional, you have to be wise. Now take that same search thing and type in MasterCard. And once again, I'm not endorsing any one particular company, I'm just saying these are some that you can look at. And since you don't know the symbol, I do, put in MasterCard, in 2 words, MasterCard. And then hit search. Just that easily you could see how they've been doing. Now, one of my childhood class friends called me about 5 years ago. Carol, Jim Cramer just said that MasterCard is about to split. It was $850, and I was saying to myself, how high can this go? When I had bought it only like $100. And she said, he said it's going to split. Well, that was good news to me. Look, and so my point in bringing it up is that it's split down to $85 a share. What is it at right now?
192.
80
Excuse me.
Per share.
per share. Now you have.
Cha-ching.
instead of 1.
Does anyone hear anything? I hear something. Do you hear anything?
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. What did you type in, MasterCard?
Yeah.
Okay, go back to the search and type in MA, which is a symbol. Understand, each company has symbols. It's called a symbol.
So you gotta be careful what you
Citibank.
searched.
Yeah, you want to make sure before you hit buy or sell. Because I'm trying to think of that example I had. This is what happened to me one time. Just like unlike your friend, I knew I wasn't going to lose everything, but what happened is my money went somewhere I didn't want it to go. I meant to sell the stocks, and I had money in the account, and I made a mistake and didn't notice because you can't be rushing. I made a mistake and said, since when you bring up to buy or sell, it automatically has buy up there. You have to choose with some websites. You have to choose buy or sell, but some automatically have the word buy up there. And I wasn't paying attention because sometimes you're multitasking, and I hit and said buy 100, and I had already just bought 100. So now I ended up with 200, and I only wanted 100 for the day. So I had to wait until they finished that transaction to get back to that and say, no, sell it. It only cost me $6.95 for that 100 batch to sell. That's one thing about brokerage firms that you need to know. You can do one trade of buying one stock. It's going to cost you, some firms, $4.95 to sell that one stock. And with some firms, it'll cost you $6.95 to sell that one stock. However, that is their cost per purchase or sale. So that means if you choose to buy 100 shares of that company stock, it's still going to cost you just $4.95. And if you choose to buy 100 shares through another online brokerage firm, they charge $6.95 for that one purchase. So that means you can buy anything, how many shares you want or how few shares you want, but it's going to cost you that $4.95. So all I lost with that inadvertent purchase was $6.95 for the day. But the gains to correct it and buy the right one that I wanted was more significant than a loss of $6.95. So you see now through Yahoo Finance, and you can always go to Google and say, other financial gauges or whatever you want to call it, so that you can look and see how companies are doing. Under Yahoo Finance, you can see how Visa, you can read the latest news about Visa. They're doing well or they're doing badly or whatever. And the same thing you can do for Visa and MasterCard or whatever company, you can do the same thing in Yahoo Finance. And like I said, there's other finance vehicles that you can use too to look and see how companies are doing. And also, the brokerage firm that you're invested in, that you have your account in, they are too glad to provide you with all the information you need to do things on your own. Because they can't accommodate everybody. So they need you to be informed customers.
I couldn't get.
Ask a quick question here. When I'm looking at this, it says bid and ask. What is that about?
Okay, that means that people bidded as high as that dollar amount for per share for that company, per share stock. Ask means the company is asking for that amount. And sometimes.
So let's say the stock is 181, but people really want it and no one's selling. All right, if you're willing to sell your share, I'm willing to pay you.
You're not buying person to person.
No, but I'm saying it's like that. It's like,
okay,
even though it's worth 181, I'm
Yes.
saying I really want this. So I'm willing to pay 190 for
exactly,
it, and
exactly.
that's up to somebody who is in the trading to say, okay, we're going to take them at 190, even
Yes.
though the stock is only worth 181.
Yeah, because I have done that. I have seen where they wanted to sell at a certain amount, and I'm like, I don't want to pay that.
Right.
Just a minute ago, I was about to hit buy, and now they changed it a few dollars more. No. And so I said, no, I'm only willing to pay, $8.05, even though it jumped up to $8.95. And I want to see who's going to bite. Who's going to bite?
Right.
Well, who's going to say, I'll take it for that much? And I watched the market drop for that minute to make my purchase and go back up. Just imagine you're affecting the economy of a company. Just one little old you.
She says that right.
Now that doesn't always work that way. Sometimes they're not willing to buy it. Somebody's not willing to buy it for that price. They'll say, and then your little request to purchase at $8.95 will sit there forever. And so that's why you gotta watch it. So one time I was out at a luncheon, I'm not gonna say where, and everybody was engaged in their conversation and everything, and I was in the stock market buying mode, and I ran out into the foyer of the restaurant, and everybody laughing and talking, and I was out there in the foyer buying and selling. And my manager came out to see, where is she? Oh, I'll be right there. I'm coming. Gotta take care of business first. So the point is that even on your job, on your break, your restroom, I've been in the ladies' room buying and selling, because when it's hot, you want to get on board.
So how can you locate new startup companies that are just like coming off the ground, that their stocks are really affordable?
Mm-hmm. You want to Yahoo Finance, Google Finance,
But you have to know what the name of the company is.
Yes. No. You go to Yahoo Finance and you can type in the search area, or you can go to Google and type in the search area all recent IPOs. And you can break down the search as far as all recent IPOs with great success potential. And it'll bring you up all the IPOs that are about to and they'll tell you the date that it's about to come to the market. Vicki, something's going on there with the recorder. What does it say?
Oh, it needs power saving. It's low, the battery.
Okay, hit okay, and I'll give you the cord
Okay.
and the pack that you can plug it in. You have to hold it down though so that it stays balanced and doesn't.
It's in that little box?
Yeah, no, in that, see that little, yeah, that one, in the very front of it is the power cord. Remember, you'll have to hold on to it because it's not, the thing isn't stabilized. Okay, I'm gonna have you log on to E-Trade, www.etrade.com. And I'm gonna step away just for a moment to help Vicki. Once again, that's log on to www.etrade.com. I'm sorry, that's www.us.etrade.com.
You do need to plug it in somewhere. Maybe you need to put it over. Move it.
I'm gonna unplug the microwave for you. Is everyone there? I need a little space.
You need some more room. Is it coming closer?
Okay, bring it more.
Oh, 1 second. Got it.
Now it's
It came out.
Pardon us for a moment, while we have a technical adjustment here. Sorry for the technical adjustment once again. Does everyone have that website? Okay. There we go. Okay. Yes. You're gonna have to hold it again. Okay. Oops.
Got it. Got it. It's going back on.